Only 37 participants are with us, including RP and myself. So please join on time. So already you join with the session, right? And also participate throughout the session. And also the second one, refrain from engaging in any other activities while during this. I mean, while in session, yeah, maybe you can do some other activities if you are in if you are I mean not turn on your video. So it is my request on behalf of RP and also Confederation, all the participants are requested to turn on your videos. It will be more better to interact with the RP. So please turn on your videos. It is a request. Then unmute only when you are speaking to the group. Otherwise, keep mute always. Then use chat box to express your views and use hand raise given to on screen to talk to us. So if you want to talk, you please hand raise or put a message in chat box, right? Okay, then attendance come feedback form should be filled as and when it's shared. So we will share attendance come feedback sheet through the chat box in call box chat box, so you can fill the data. So your e-certificate will be on that manner. When you are filling, you please check your name spelling, otherwise you will get e-certificate on that manner. So you please take care when you are filling the feedback form and the attendance sheet. Then ensure the correctness that's already mentioned, and e-certificate once issued against the submitted data will not be revised on request. Dear participants, you will get a e-certificate from GKSA Confederation of Kerala South India Complex within 1 week. So don't call any other personalities from the Confederation academic wing for getting your certificate. Definitely, you will get the certificate, right? Okay, then after this session, please prepare a presentation based on this session for the benefit of your colleagues, and also implement new ideas collected from this session on and it will be shared with your colleagues, right? That is the instruction we have to share with you. And we can start our program now. The time is 4:30 with a prayer. Let me invite Preeti for the prayer.
ഈശ്വര പ്രാർത്ഥന. എങ്ങുമെങ്ങും നിറയും വെളിച്ചമേ, എൻ മനസ്സിൽ കുടിയിരിക്കണമേ. എന്റെ പാദം ഇടറാതിരിക്കുവാൻ എന്നുമെന്നും ദയ ചൊരിയണമേ. പൂവിലൂർന്ന പുഞ്ചിരി നീയല്ലോ, പുസ്തകം തരും ജ്ഞാനവും നീയല്ലോ. പുല്ലുപായയും പൂമണി മേടയും തുല്യമായി തരും ശക്തിയും നീയല്ലോ. എങ്ങുമെങ്ങും നിറയും വെളിച്ചമേ, എൻ മനസ്സിൽ കുടിയിരിക്കണമേ. നല്ല ബുദ്ധിയായി എൻ്റെ മനസ്സിലും നല്ല ചെയ്തിയായ എൻ പിഞ്ചു കൈയിലും നല്ല ഭാഷയായി നാവിൻ്റെ തുമ്പിലും നന്മയായി നീ കടന്നിരിക്കണമേ. എങ്ങുമെങ്ങും നിറയും വെളിച്ചമേ, എൻ മനസ്സിൽ കുടിയിരിക്കണമേ. താങ്ക് യു.
Okay, thank you, Preeti. Right. Here today, I'd like to introduce today's RP, our Mallika, MCom, MPhil, BEd, MPA, and DISM, postgraduate teacher, commerce in Dr. Nallikopusamy Vivekananda Vidya Junior College, Korattur, Chennai, and 22 years experience in the field of teaching commerce and accountancy, including CBSE and matriculation, 14 years of experience in CBSE board evaluation, received a marvelous mentor award from RR Academy in Chennai, received appreciation letter from the HRD Minister Smriti Irani for outstanding performance in the CBSE board exam 2015, resource person for Vivekananda Education Society teachers and topper students, Attended a PRP workshop in competency building accountancy, Bangalore 2018. Attended PRP workshop in competency building business studies in 2018. And she also a public speaker. Okay, so here I would like to extend a warm welcome to our Mallika ma'am on behalf of Confederation of Kerala Sahodaya Complexes to lead this session. And Confederation of Kerala Sahodaya Complexes is the association of more than 20 Sahodayas. The president of Confederation is Father Sijan Paul Kundugalil, Joint Secretary Georgie Paul, Principal Benchmark International Pustiru, and Treasurer Dr. Dinesh Babu. These are the office bearers of Confederation, and myself, Ashraf, the member of academic wing of Confederation, and the team headed by Mr. Balagopal sir. Okay, so on behalf of Confederation of Kerala Sahodaya Congress, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all the participants to the accountancy training, and over to you, Ma'am Mallika ma'am. Thank you. Have a nice session.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Namaste and happy evening to one and all, dear teachers. It gives immense pleasure to be connected with you all. Really, it's nice. Without coming to Kerala, I'm connected with you all. Thank you for that. And let's start the program with a small warm-up. Dear teachers, when you enter the classroom, besides wishing the students greetings to the students, before starting the subject, how would you motivate the students? Can you share with me, some of you? How would you motivate the students before starting the subject? If you don't want to speak, you can text it in the chat box. No ideas? How would you motivate the students, madam? How would you start the class? Please, Sriraj. How are you all? Nice?
Fine, ma'am.
Yes. Prasita,
Yes, ma'am.
normally how would you start the class, ma'am? Related to the subject or something else you will talk with them?
Ma'am,
Yes.
Hello. I can't hear you.
Prasita?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. You are audible. You are very well audible, ma'am. You can share with me.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, fine. By asking previous class contents. Brainstorming. Latika Suresh has shared with all of us brainstorming just by asking some questions related to the topic, it seems. Okay, nice. Definitely we teachers are creating the future citizens. Obviously we are nation builders, there is no doubt. Yes, we have to motivate the students even by giving some exercise, by asking them to have some cheer up claps, or else like this some brainstorming session, or asking the previous class questions. Even just how are you? How do you feel now? The climate is good. Something we are talking like this, and then we are starting the class, isn't it? Thank you all. And Marine has connect students with the normal life situations relating with accounts. Superb. Nice. Thank you all teachers. Now, let us start the program. You all know that for the last 18 months, we undergo a tremendous change everywhere, especially in the education field. The teaching learning process, so much of changes. We teachers as well as students, we people are encountering. At the same time, we didn't put the education in the back seat. Of course, even CBSE with very good educators and eminent person, they have come out with so many innovative ideas to enrich teachers as well as students, and there was no halt in the learning and teaching process. Even we have elevated ourselves with the technology adapted to the situation. Now, we have to think about the students also. They are also undergoing so many challenges and changes. That too in evaluation and writing the examination now. The term on examination is MCQ. So we have to make them to prepare well and to crack the exam superbly. So let me present my presentation about the examination and the pattern of examination, type of the questions, everything. As I said now, children, students, they are undergoing so many changes. It's not it in the education field. Sometimes we have online classes and offline mode also, Google Classroom and sending videos, so many changes. With all this, now they are going to write entirely different mode of examination, that is MCQ questions. So MCQ only, some students may think it's MCQ, we can write some ABC, not like that. So we must insist them acquiring knowledge is very, very important in this scenario. Meritorious students only will be going to shine in the future. So knowledge is power. Knowledge is invaluable asset. So acquiring knowledge is inevitable and very important in this present scenario. So we make our students to prepare well for their examination. As far as MCQ concerned, 3 points are very, very important. Number 1 is it is purely MCQ questions. Number 2, the syllabus which is included in this term 1 will not be included in term 2, and the mark of term 1 will be taken into consideration for the promotion of 12th standard, but what is the percentage and what extent will be declared by the CBSE. Now, the whole syllabus is divided into 2 terms, term 1 and term 2. This is semester pattern. So for term 1, what are the topics included? Already we are familiar with that. Anyway, fundamentals of partnership accounting and change in profit sharing ratio, admission of your partner. Here, the valuation of goodwill also included in the fundamentals. Then again in part B, financial statement of your company and even tools also included. The second theory lesson. And third is ratio analysis. So these are the syllabus for the term 1 examination. Let us discuss deeply with the questions, the question pattern of the question paper. Total questions with choices 55 questions. How many questions the students are going to attempt? 45. Total marks will be awarded 40. But time allowed is 90 minutes. Average time for each question is 2 minutes is given. But some questions require more than 2 minutes. Some questions not even 20 seconds. How our children are going to manage this? How they are going to manage the time? So they need so many practices. Practice only the magic thing here. When they practice more question papers, definitely they know how quickly they will end up with the answer for some questions. For some questions, how they need more time. So when they do some questions quickly, they can save the time for the questions which require more minutes. So this will come only by practice. Now, there are 3 parts actually, but part 2 and part B choices are there. But for us, only part 2, part 3 is computerized accounting, that is not relevant for us. Now, under part 1, there is section A, section B and section C. Section A is conceptual based questions. There are 18 questions. Out of that, 15 questions will be attempted. These are based on conceptual and accounting principles. Maybe it is easy for giving answers by our students. Conceptual based. Then application based. 19 to 36 question number, 18 questions again. Out of this, 15 questions will be attempted by the student. Now the question is, because this first conceptual based questions or 18 questions are easy means, suppose the students are attending all the 18 questions, how the evaluation will be done? Of course, first 15 questions only will be taken into consideration for evaluation, even though there are mistakes. After 15 questions, there are...
Ma'am, sorry for the interruption.
Yes, please.
Sir, are you sharing any presentation, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, but we can't see, ma'am. You please share once more, right?
Okay, sir. I'll see. Thank you so much. Once again, it's not. Sorry.
Now it's okay, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is what next one. Conceptual based questions are 18 questions. Out of this, 15 questions to be attempted by the student. Here the doubt is, suppose we all know that conceptual based questions would be easier for the students to attend. Because these are all knowledge based questions. For example, interest on loan by a partner in the case of absence of deed is 6%. This is knowledge based. If they are asking what is the percentage of interest on loan by a partner, so they will be choosing the answer as 6%. There may be options 8%, 6%, 7% like that. So this is knowledge based. Just they have knowledge about that, they are writing this. But the same thing is given in the question. They have to calculate 6%. First of all, they should know it is 6%, and they have to calculate that 6%, and that has to be deducted from the net profit. That has to be credited in the profit and loss appropriation, and other deductions would be there. This is known as application oriented questions because the knowledge is applied over here. So compared to application based questions, concept based questions would be easier for the students. Suppose if they attend all the 18 questions, first 15 questions only will be evaluated, even though there are errors. After
Ma'am,
yes,
ma'am, sorry for interrupting, ma'am.
yes,
CBSE instructions have clearly stated that there is no negative marking.
yes, no negative marking, ma, no negative marking.
But in case if the student has attempted all the 18 and apart from the first 15, what if the last 3 are correct? Why can't that be taken into consideration, ma'am?
But first 15 only will be taken. Okay, within negative marking means for wrong answer they won't deduct any mark. That is known as negative marking. Negative marking means for wrong answer, some competitive exams and all, if they choose wrong answer, for that some 0.2 or 0.3 marks will be deducted. That is known as negative marking. That won't be here. That's all.
Okay, so only the first 15 will be considered.
Definitely only first 15 questions only will be taken into consideration, even though there are errors. For example, okay, 15 questions they are correcting. There are 13 questions only and correct. So 2 are mistake means mistakes only. But after 15, there are 2 questions are answered well also, that won't be taken into consideration. So that is what we have to clearly say to our students. So very carefully they have to choose the answer. So even though they are attending 18 questions, there is no benefit for them. They have to correctly choose the correct 15 questions and they have to attend. This is what we have to tell to our students.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Then application based questions also same 18 questions. Out of that 15 questions they are supposed to attend. Here also same thing, first 15 questions only will be corrected. So this is actually critical thinking. They have to, the student has, they have to analyze properly which question they know, which they cannot. They have to find out the strong and weak area. Accordingly, they have to select the question. So that is why maybe CBSE chosen like this. Then section C, there are 5 questions based on case studies. Case studies would be given there. Normally, case studies questions, why they are giving means the knowledge enhancement would be there. Checking the knowledge enhancement over there. Because about one concept, elaborately the concept would be given, from that questions will be asked. So when the students are clear with the concept, definitely they will be giving answer for this. So case studies would be there from that 5 questions. Out of that 4 questions to be attempted. Then again part 2, this is what financial statement. There are section A, section B. Section A, 7 questions would be there. Out of that 5 questions to be attempted. And then section B, 7 questions. Out of that 6 questions to be attempted. Next we'll see how many MCQs, how many assertion and reasoning questions, all this. This is what the blueprint of the SQP actually published by CBSE. So we expect the same, more or less the same blueprint for our examination also. So there are MCQ questions from partnership, 20 questions. Then assertion and reasoning 2, it is given. Under company accounts, MCQ 7 questions plus section B 6, totally 13 MCQs, and assertion and reasoning 1 question from the section B. And financial statement overall 11. This is actually both concept and application oriented questions. 11 plus 3. We'll see topic wise now. Accounting for partnership is weightage is more here. Totally 25 questions will be asked from partnership firm. And section A MCQ 11 questions would be easy for our students. Section B application oriented MCQs will be 9 questions. That is a mathematical calculation is required over there. And assertion and reasoning would be 2 questions, but they can choose among these 11 questions. Okay, section B. Then section C, case studies, 1 case study would be there. Out of the 3 questions will be there. So totally 25 questions in partnership firm. Now let us see about the companies. MCQ here under section A, MCQ question 6, assertion and reasoning 1 question, and case studies only 1 case study. From that 2 questions will be asked. Totally 16 questions weightage from companies. Part 2, financial statement analysis, section A, MCQ 6 questions, assertion and reasoning 1 question. And section B, MCQ 5 questions, assertion and reasoning 2 questions. Totally 14 questions from financial statement analysis. Part 3 does not relevant for our students. So computers in accounting, actually either part 2 or part 3 they have to choose. For our students it is part 2 only. So part 1 and part 2 only will be attending by our students. Now the big question is, our students, what they are asking, 45 questions to be attempted, but for 40 marks is not it. How to clarify this? Actually, we think MCQ means normally each question carries 1 mark, but it is not like that here. It is not 1 mark, except mathematics and other languages. Okay, other languages in the sense excluding English. Excluding English, other languages and mathematics, it is 1 mark. For other subject, let us see the marks now. For accountancy, normally, number of questions to be attempted is 45, but maximum mark is 40. So each question carries 0.88. So 0.88 only will be awarded for each question. Then another doubt is, when the student is getting in fraction, if the mark is in fraction, how they are going to decide? Suppose that is 6.1. Normally in accountancy, in ratio analysis and all, we used to tell our students after 0.5 and above means it will be rounded off, or else it won't be rounded off. Is not it? It is not like that here. Here actually, after point, even though it is 1, it will be rounded off to the next number. For example, here 36.1, no, that will be rounded off to 37 mark. Next, MCQ. Even though it is MCQ, for all the questions, options are given, there are variety of questions. Simple MCQs, this is nothing but MCQs based on concepts and accounting principles. Then next is numerical or application based MCQs. Here they have to apply the knowledge. Then fill in the blanks will be there. The statements won't be complete. The students have to complete with the help of the options given over there. Sequencing, chronological order. They know the process of some transactions, some events. They have to sequence it in the chronological order. Then true or false. Here the fact to be identified and critical thinking again they are testing. Matching. Normally matching, more content will be there. It's not in 4 matches would be there. So they have to connect 4 matches again. So there will be 4 concept would be there. So more concept will be given as question and can be evaluated. Assertion reason based of trial. It is going to check the intelligence of the students. Of course, the reasoning ability, actually innate talent, they say, innate ability of the student. Naturally, what ability they have, that will be found out. Normally, assertion reason based questions would be easier for our students when they know the concepts and principles thoroughly. Then finally, case study based. These are all definitely student friendly question, because when they read the case study and understand the case study, definitely they can give answer for this. Now, how our students are going to write the MCQs without any bias, without any mistakes. So they have to pay special attention to these kind of words, which is not always, never, all of the following except, none of the above, all of the above. Apart from this, even not, only not, which is not. They overlook the not and they land up with the error. So these are the words, keywords, they should keep it in their mind, and when they read the question, definitely they have to be very alert reading the question. Normally, now we are entering into the concepts in the absence of partnership deed. So normally we teach no interest on capital, no interest on drawings will be charged, or no salary or commission to be allowed, or profit sharing will be equal, and interest on partners loan also 6% in the case of absence of deed. Now, let us read this question now. Please join with me. Partnership deed or agreement did not exist at the time when they gave loan to the firm of rupees 2 lakhs. At the end of the year, the partners agreed to pay interest at 8% per annum. Interest on loan by a partner will be paid at 6% per annum is given, 6% simply it is given, 8% per annum is given, interest will not be paid also given. Now what would be the answer? Can we guess this? Anybody is ready?
6% per annum.
6%. Anybody else also there?
6% per annum.
Yes. So why we are choosing the 6% per annum? Partnership deed or agreement did not exist. When there is absence of deed, it is 6%. So suddenly we are coming to the conclusion that it would be 6%. But afterwards, what is the line given here? At the end of the year, the partners agreed. So partners agreed to pay interest at 8% per annum. So the answer is 8% only correct. Even our students think in the same way. That is why I have chosen this question. Actually, here in the previous slide, normally we teach interest on capital will not be allowed, interest on drawings will not be charged, all this. But actually here, what are the concepts to be focused and will be clarified to the students? Deed. What is the meaning of deed? That is very important. Deed means it is agreement among the partners. The deed is written agreement, deed, but orally also they can have. There is no mandatory for having written agreement. So this is the concept actually they are learning in the 11th standard itself. So they agreed. Next, another concept is here is partnership firm. All the partners together is known as partnership. The firm is known as partnership firm. So normally we say, what is the firm? Partnership firm means nothing but all the partners collectively together is known as partnership firm. So all the partners agreed means it's nothing but the firm says. So these are the two concepts. Along with these points, we have to make clarified. So here, in this case, the partners agreed to pay interest 8% means definitely 8% per annum to be given, because all the partners agreed means the firm accepts that. The firm is making it a point. That's all. Yes or no? Any points here you would like to share with me, dear teachers? Is it correct? 8%? Would you accept?
Teacher, yes, teacher, we accept. Sorry, can I ask one doubt?
Yes, please. Please share.
Teacher, yes, it is stated that there is no agreement. That is why we use the term they agreed. My question, if the same thing it is applicable only for the loan, or whether it is applicable to interest on capital, interest on drawings, and equal share, etc.
No, yes. Actually, in this question, they are pointing at only the interest on loan. So it is applied for this alone, not for the other things. Suppose some other added points are given, then we have to think it over that. Here actually, normally when all the partners agreed, the first agreement will be closed normally. Even though there was an agreement, okay, there was only some other cases, for example, interest on capital to be given 8%. For example, in the deed says, but afterwards the partners all agreed together, it is 10%. The first agreement will come to an end. Okay, always the new agreement only supersedes the old one. So here also the next time there was no agreement, but again the agreement has come into existence by partners agreeing for that. So that is why this kind of twisted questions are expected. This will affect the toppers. That is why we have to take it into consideration.
Okay, teacher. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am, one more doubt, ma'am.
Please, ma'am, please.
Ma'am, see, when the agreement can be either written or oral.
Yes, yes.
When it is written, it is called partnership deed.
Yeah.
But in the first sentence, it is given partnership deed and agreement is
Yes.
or agreement
Yes.
did not exist.
Yes, yes.
So both is not existing.
Actually, deed or agreement, both are same only. Partnership deed or agreement, both are same only. But it was not exist. But afterwards, the partners agreed, it has come into existence. Deed has come into existence, maybe orally or written. It is not mentioned over there. Anyway, the partners are agreed means it is valid point only.
Okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Next, we have to clarify about the charges. We have to assume that these three things are charges. We know that normally charges means it has to be deducted from the profit and loss account. That is not an appropriation. So here these three, manager's commission, interest on loan by a partner, or rent to a partner, all these are charges. So that has to be deducted from the profit and loss account. Now let us see one question related to this. This is assertion and reason based question. Assertion is rent paid to the partner is not to be shown in profit and loss appropriation account. Then rent paid to the partner is treated as the charge against profit and not the appropriation of the profit it is given. Actually here both are correct only. Rent paid to the partner is not to be shown in the profit and loss appropriation. It won't be shown here because it is a charge. How the children know this? If they know the concept. These three are, normally these three items only will be repeated in our book. In syllabus also given. So they should know this rent to be, it's a charge that has to be deducted from the profit and loss account, that won't appear in the profit and loss appropriation. So assertion is correct. So how these students will face this assertion based question? First they have to read the assertion. If it is correct, then go to the reason. Now they can select from this 4. First A is, both A and or are true. Both A and or are true. A, B and C. Among this only they have to choose now, not D. D won't come now. After reading the assertion, they can eliminate the D. Then next they are going to read reason. Rent paid to the partner is treated as the charge against profit and not the appropriation of the profit. This is what the explanation of the assertion. So both are correct. When they know the concept only, they can give correct answer in this case of assertion and reason based question. So here both are correct only. Now here, what normally students make mistake over here means, they overlook the profit and loss account or profit and loss appropriation account. So they think it is profit and loss account, then they may enter into wrong answer. So they carefully, they have to read this. So this concept is important to the students. Next, even interest on capital. There are so many cases. Interest on drawings, normally they feel easy. Interest on drawings, because overall there are 11 formulas in interest on drawings. First we know when the partners withdrawing amount, same amount regularly, beginning of each month, middle of each month, end of each month. So there are formulas 6.5, then 6, 5.5. Every quarter, there also again formulas are there, they will apply that. Then every 6 months, only for 6 months they will be withdrawing amount. For that also 3.5, 3, 2.5 formulas are there, they will apply. So 9 formulas are over. 10th formula is product method. Actually, how they would find answer for whenever there is irregular withdrawal of amount, okay, uneven amount and irregular period. In that case, we have to apply that product method. Then the last one, there only students make mistake. The last one is average method. Whenever the date of withdrawal is not given, then they have to apply the average, that is 6/12 or 1/2. There only even toppers forget that, they won't do that normally. So now interest on capital is very, very important concept next. So these are the 6 concepts overall. In the absence of deed, of course, interest on capital will not be allowed. Then next is deed provides for interest on capital. Of course, deed provides. So they can give interest on capital to the partners. Again, deed provides for but insufficient profit. Actually, deed says that to give interest on capital, but profit is not enough. In that case, how to share it? So they have to see the ratio of the interest on capital. First, the students must calculate the interest on capital. For example, 3,000, 2,000 for A and B. The ratio between the 3,000, 2,000 is nothing but 3:2. Suppose 5,000 interest on capital is needed, but they have only 3,000 as profit. So this 3,000 will be allowed in the ratio of 3:2. This is known as proportionately the profit will be shared as interest on capital. So the third case is important. This kind of questions will be expected. Then deed provides for, but there is a loss. There is loss, but deed says that to give interest on capital. In that case, normally in the normal course, interest on capital is an appropriation. So when there is a loss, how can we appropriate? So interest on capital will not be given. Deed provides. The students may ask us, deed provides, miss? Yes, deed provides when there is a profit only. There is a loss we cannot give. So interest on capital will not be given in this situation. The next one we see, deed says, that is provides, it's a charge when there is a profit. Profit is there, but it says charge. It says that will be 1 minute. The charge will be actually deducted, interest on capital will be deducted from profit and loss account. The remaining profit only credited to the profit and loss appropriation, and then the interest on capital will be given. Actually, interest on capital will not be credited in the profit and loss appropriation. Dear teachers, am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So, the last one, deed says it's a charge, even though there is a loss. So, already loss, but the deed says it's a charge, means definitely the interest on capital to be deducted in the profit and loss account. It has to be charged in the profit and loss account. Then what will happen? The loss will be increased to the level of interest on capital. The whole loss will be distributed among the partners in the profit and loss sharing ratio. So these are the concepts. Based on these questions will be asked now. Now let us read the question. Join with me. Interest on capital is always an appropriation of profit. Therefore, it is transferred to the debit of profit and loss account or profit and loss appropriation account, drawings account, and none of the above. Here, what would be the answer? Can you guess? Anybody?
None of the above.
Exactly correct, ma'am. It is none of the above only. Anybody can give the reason for it?
It is not always an appropriation of profit.
Fine. Great. Because this always, as I told you already here, these are the keywords. It is not always appropriation. When the deed says it is a charge, then it is not at all appropriation. It is charge that will be debited to the profit and loss account. Thank you. Thank you for your answer, ma'am. Good. Then again, same interest on capital, assertion and reason based question. In case of losses, interest on capital will not be provided. In case of losses, interest on capital will not be provided. As interest on capital is treated as the appropriation of the profit, because interest on capital is treated as appropriation of profit. That is why it won't be given. And there are no profits, but interest on capital can be provided in case of losses, if it is to be treated as charge. Which answer would be correct, ma'am?
Option A,
ma'am.
Exactly. A is the correct answer because both are true. Both A and OR are true. Exactly, the OR is the correct explanation. Whenever it is appropriation, it's okay. When there is loss, but at the same time charge, means it has to be given even though there is loss. So it is the correct explanation. Some more questions are there. Quickly we'll go through that. Interest on, it is in the last. Yes, this question. Read the following and following in the answer the questions is given. A and B are partners sharing the profit and losses in the ratio of 3:2 with the capitals of 2 lakh and 1 lakh respectively. Show the distribution of profits in each of the following alternative cases is given. Actually 3:2 is the ratio. Their capitals are 2 lakhs and 1 lakh. Just to see the concept, if the partnership deed is silent as to the interest on capital and the profit for the year are rupees 50,000, it is given. So actually silent means we are not going to provide interest on capital. So 50,000 will be to be shared in the profit sharing ratio, that is 3:2. But normally here students may choose the answer none of the above. Because deed is silent, no interest on capital would be given. But the profit to be shared. What is the question normally here? Show the distribution of profits in each of the following alternative cases. They are asking distribution of profit only, not about interest on capital. So this kind of questions to be introduced to our students. Here they have to choose the answers, that is profit transferred to as 30,000, 20,000. Even here, if the partnership deed provides for interest on capital at 8% per annum and the losses for the year are 50,000. So here deed provides for, but there are loss. So in this case also interest on capital will not be given, isn't it? So here they have to pick the answer, not profit transferred, but loss transferred 30,000, 20,000. Then the next is, if the partnership deed provides for the interest on capital 8% per annum, but the profits for the year are 50,000. In this case, actually, interest on capital to be given, they have to calculate. It would be 16,000 and 8,000, and that has to be deducted from the profit. The remaining profit only will be transferred as 15,600 and 10,400 it would come. But the concept is, in this case, interest on capital to be given, then after deducting interest on capital, the remaining only will be shared in the profit sharing ratio. That is what the concept here. Remaining from partnership accounting, quickly we'll go through this. And yes, even capital accounts of partners will be teaching. There are two types of capital accounts, fixed and fluctuating, but there is no mandatory to follow any one particular capital account. But unless otherwise it is started, we have to assume that the partnership firm is following the fluctuating capital account. Now let us see. Normally we know that fixed capital account, under that the capitals normally will not get changed. Under two circumstances only it will get changed. That is, one is withdrawal of capital and another one is whenever they introduce additional capital. Here two types of drawings are there that we have to teach to our students. Two types of drawings are, one is drawings made out of capital, another drawing is drawings out of profit. So the drawings, just drawings that is mentioned in the question means the students must assume that the drawings is out of profit. In that case, that drawings will not affect the capital. Otherwise, suppose the partner is withdrawing out of capital, definitely that hint will be given in the question, and the question definitely will say that drawings made out of capital. In that case only the capital will be reduced. So two types of drawings concept to be introduced to our students, and they know the format. Definitely questions will be there. What are the items in the debit side and credit side, all this. Now this is the another question. Normally it may look easy, at the same time students may easily lose mark here. Quickly I'll read this. Arun, Varun Sharma or partners, they shared profit and loss in the ratio of 3:2:1 with effect from 2021. Their capitals on that date were rupees 5 lakh each, and balance in current accounts were 40,000 credit balance and 20,000 debit balance respectively. On that date, balances in general reserve was rupees 1 lakh and workman compensation reserve rupees 1 lakh, against which workman compensation claim was rupees 50,000. Now, normally we have to insist our children, after reading this kind of questions, the final two lines, the question to be read twice or thrice. Here the question is general reserve and workman compensation reserve credited equally to their capital accounts will be. What would be the answer? Any guess? Here, general reserve and compensation reserve would be 50,000 after reducing the claim. So 1,50,000. In the ratio, what would be the answer? Can you give me the answer, teachers?
1,50,000.
Anybody else? Yes, our students definitely, they calculate, they definitely pick the answers. Correct. But at the same time, why actually when I was reading the question also, I end up like this. It would be 1,50,000 like that. But that is why we have to first make ourselves clarified, and we have to teach our students also. Here actually the question is general reserve and workman compensation reserve credited equally to their capital accounts will be capital accounts. Why it has to be credited to capital accounts? Because they are maintaining fixed capital type. They have balances in the current accounts. So the answer would be none of these amounts. So in capital accounts, no amount will be transferred. Anybody has any doubt in this? Anybody has doubt on this?
No,
None
ma'am.
of this amount is correct? Yes, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, none of these amounts would be the correct answer because we are not going to credit any item in the capital accounts. Here, any item is here, this reserve and workman compensation reserve, that will go to only current account. Yes, of course, past adjustment. The whole concept I have shown here, omission of item or items, omission for more than a year, all this, and errors, allowing or charging. Here, interest on capital may be allowed more instead of less, or less instead of more. Same way, interest on drawings may be charged less instead of more, or more instead of less. In that case, we need not to have 3 steps. For example, 8% interest on capital to be allowed, but they have allowed 10%. So 10% is error. Normally in the book it is given 10% to be, that is error, no, that has to be cancelled, that has to be debited. So what is required to be credited? So 10% I told you, for example, 10% instead of 8% they credited. So normally as per the book, 10% we debit, 8% we credit, then we end up with profit amount that will be shared in the ratio. But instead of doing like this, because our students must attend the MCQs with more speed as well as accuracy, more accuracy also. So normally instead of 8%, 10% is actually credited. So how much to be cancelled? 2%. That 2% alone we can take it, and that alone can be cancelled. So in this kind of shortcut method also can be taught to our students, because they have to do the sums quickly with more accuracy. Then profit and loss shared normally, wrongly they would have shared. That has to be rectified correctly. So these are past adjustments normally our students do well. And then guarantee to the partner also, because in the curriculum it is given profit and loss appropriation along with guarantee. So guarantee question would be there definitely. So there are types. Number 1 is by the firm, by the partner, guarantee by the firm, guarantee by the one partner or many partners. And sometimes the partner also giving guarantee to the firm. One question would be there in our book. One chartered accountant, group of partners, they are chartered accountants, they are starting the business, and one particular partner is giving guarantee to the firm that no way his earnings will go down. Suppose if it goes down, that amount, the difference amount to be credited in the profit and loss appropriation account, because that is the guarantee given by the partner. Here, what is the difference between the guarantee by the firm and by the partner, whether it would be mentioned in the question or not? It won't be mentioned in the question. But how the question, actually the students will understand that it is by the firm. Suppose the deficiency borne by the partner or partners is not mentioned in the question, that is by the firm only. In that case, first the guaranteed amount will be given to the guaranteed partner, the remaining only will be shared among the partners, that is by the firm, others by the partner or partners. Now, here the hot question may be asked when there is loss. Suppose there is a loss. For example, 90,000 loss for the year. ABC are equal partners. A is given guarantee as rupees 1 lakh. In that case, the guarantee to be given to cover the loss too. Loss also to be covered. In that case, how much amount to be given by B and C to A? 1,30,000. 1,30,000 would be the deficiency, would be borne by the remaining partners or whatever it may be as per the question. So we have to focus here when there is a loss, how the guarantee will be given to the partner. The next is goodwill valuation. Before that, students must know about the meaning of goodwill and what are the two types of goodwill: purchased goodwill and self-generated goodwill. Students should know to identify the purchased goodwill and self-generated goodwill. Normally, as per accounting standard 26, purchased goodwill will be recorded in the books. In the books means nothing but it is balance sheet. Already recorded. It is registered in the book. It's shown in the book. All these are known as purchased goodwill. Normally, it would be shown in the asset side of the balance sheet. What to do? How to deal with the purchased goodwill? At the time of reconstitution, we have to explain to our students what is the meaning of reconstitution. As per reconstitution, the old agreement will come to an end, new agreement emerges. At that time, the purchased goodwill, which is shown in the asset side of the balance sheet, will be written off among the partners in the old ratio. There is no raising of goodwill and writing of the goodwill in this year. So this is regarding the purchased goodwill. Now, what is self-generated goodwill? That goodwill will be shown below the balance sheet. The goodwill value of the firm, it would be mentioned like that in order to calculate the value of the goodwill. In case of change in profit sharing ratio or at the time of admission of the partner, we need the value of the self-generated goodwill. Self-generated goodwill is nothing but it is generated by the partners through their efforts and efficiency. For that, the gaining partner will give compensation to the sacrificing partner in the case of change in profit sharing ratio. How to deal with self-generated goodwill at the time of admission? As I told you now, the goodwill is generated or goodwill is raised by the partners through their efforts and efficiency, so that they are sacrificing towards the new partner, newly admitted partner. So the new partner should bring some compensation towards the sacrifice made by the sacrificing partner, so that the new partner should bring his share of goodwill. That part is nothing but part of self-generated goodwill. That would be mentioned below the balance sheet. Now, the next very important question is goodwill is fictitious asset? Anybody can give answer to me? Goodwill?
No.
No. Anybody can give reason for that?
Goodwill has no market value.
Exactly. No market value?
Goodwill is a saleable asset.
Yes, sir. It is a realizable asset. It has some monetary value. So fictitious, in this case, when we ask this question, whether goodwill is a fictitious asset or intangible asset, give reason. When we ask, first of all, our students must be thorough with intangible asset and fictitious asset too. What is the meaning of fictitious asset? Fictitious asset doesn't have any monetary value. It doesn't have any realizable value. What are the examples of fictitious asset then? Examples of fictitious asset, number one is
Preliminary expenses. Preliminary expenses.
Deferred revenue expenditure.
Advertisement expenditure.
Advertisement expenses. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good responses. Very good. Yes, preliminary expenses and deferred revenue expenditure. Again, deferred revenue expenditure is a beautiful concept. Example is advertisement, because the expenditure is meant for 4 or 5 years, because the benefit out of that expenditure is derived for 4 or 5 years, more than a year. So that it is deferred for more than a year. That expenditure is deferred means installments. In installment, it will be written off. So that till it is write off, it has to be shown in the asset side of the balance sheet. That is the rule of the accounts. So that is why this fictitious asset, even accumulated loss, also a fictitious asset. Accumulated loss is nothing but profit and loss. Till it is written off, it has to be shown in the asset side. So these are all about the fictitious asset. And factors affecting goodwill, it's student friendly only. They know what are the factors which will enhance the goodwill or decrease the goodwill. Here again, the goodwill treatment, very clearly we have to explain to our student what is the goodwill treatment at the time of change in profit sharing ratio. Then you have to find out the gaining partner and sacrificing partner by finding out the gaining share and sacrificing share. That is nothing but old share minus new share. So you will land up with who is the gaining partner and sacrificing partner. Take the goodwill of the firm and take the gaining share. So that amount will be given by the gaining partner to the sacrificing partner. So this is what the treatment at the time of change in profit sharing ratio. Here again, conceptual error may be done by the students, because they think according to the personal account, the sacrificing partner is receiving. Why should we credit sacrificing partner? Why should we debit the person who is giving money, that is gaining partner, to be debited? Here it is not at all a personal account, it is capital account, because gaining partners capital account, sacrificing partners capital account only we are mentioning. So that has to be clarified very clearly to our student. Then next, at the time of admission, how we are going to deal with this goodwill treatment? Here actually the sacrificing partner will get the premium for goodwill amount from the new partner. Suppose gaining partner also there, so gaining partner also to be debited, premium for goodwill also to be debited. In this case, the sacrificing partner is doubly benefited. 2 ways he is going to get money. One from the gaining partner as well as from the new partner who is bringing premium for goodwill. So this concept to be made very clear to a student. Again, assertion question here. Goodwill which is appearing on the asset side of the balance sheet purchased at the time of change in profit sharing ratio need to be written off in the old ratio at the time of reconstitution. It is correct. Reason, correct explanation, because as per accounting standard 26, goodwill existing in the books of account. Books means it is balance sheet only, written off by debiting to the partner's capital account or current account. So both are correct. Now true or false also. Sorry. Okay, this question has come here. This is a type of question, because true or false, no. This is checking the critical thinking of the student. So it is from the company accounts anyway. First of all, this concept to be very clear to the students. What is authorized capital? What is issued capital and paid up capital? All this. So authorized capital means when we take this concept, we have to mention that authorized capital, the capital which is mentioned in the memorandum of association. At the same time, this is the maximum capital one company can raise in its lifetime. Students may ask us, suppose they would like to increase the share capital, they would like to issue further capital. What they do is, can't they do it? In rare case, they can do it by passing the resolution. Then we have to explain about what is resolution, what is majority vote, all this. Then issued capital is part of authorized capital, or else It may be equal to authorized capital also, but the first one, authorized capital may not be less than the issued capital. So first one is not correct. Then in this way they have to eliminate. Then authorized capital can be more than the issued capital or equal to issued capital. In that case, sometimes the company can issue the whole authorized capital at a time. There is possibility. So second one is correct. Third is subscribed capital is less than the issued capital. Yes, it may be under subscription or else equivalent to the issued capital. The subscription subscribed by the people, shareholders, that is equivalent to the issued capital. That is also possible. When it is less than that, that is known as under subscription. So third also correct. But subscribed capital may not be more than issued capital. Here the students may go wrong because oversubscription is there, no ma'am. They may ask, but oversubscription would be there, but the money of the oversubscribed capital will be returned back or will be adjusted with the issued capital only. So there may not be subscribed capital, may not be over than the issued capital, cannot be over than the issued capital. So answer would be 2 and 3. So this is sequence question. So this kind of sequence question, that is order of the order of the transaction, order of the events to be corrected. Forfeiture of shares, default on calls, ratio of shares, amount transferred to capital reserve. We all know that first default on calls, then 14 days time will be given to forfeit the shares. If at all they are not paying, those shares will be forfeited, then that will be reissued, then the profit on that, the gain on that will be transferred to capital reserve. Anything would you like to ask me, teachers? The next is goodwill valuation. This is also student friendly one. Average profit method, super profit method, and capitalization method. Here, weighted average method is not mentioned in the curriculum, but at the same time, that is part. Average profit method has another part as weighted average method also. So they may ask weighted profit method also. And then under the capitalization method, again we have capitalization of average profit method, capitalization of super profit method also, simply capitalization method also there. And in that simple case, sometimes students may make mistakes because in simple method, for example, 1 lakh is the capital invested, but normal rate of return is 10%. So profit should be 10,000, no, but there will be 20,000. In that case, for 20,000 profit, how much capital to be invested? They have to find out. In that case, 2 lakh, the difference would be 1 lakh. That would be the goodwill. In that way, simple, but students may make mistakes simply over there. Now, when you calculate this goodwill, we have to take it into consideration abnormal loss, abnormal gain, a remuneration if not deducted, and past adjustments also. This kind of questions will be given focus definitely for the toppers. And why abnormal loss to be added? Because to value the goodwill of the firm shows the caliber for making the profit. Abnormal loss, unexpectedly it happened. So that with that we cannot determine the real caliber of the company. That is why abnormal loss to be added and abnormal gain to be deducted, all this. Here assertion question. Arjun is admitted in a firm for 1/4 share in the profit for which he brings rupees 60,000 as goodwill. It will be taken by the older partners in the sacrificing ratio. It is correct only. Older partners it is given, but sacrificing ratio only. Suppose the older partner is not getting sacrificing ratio, he may not get. So this kind of twisted question, because students may think it is older partners, so it may be wrong, but it is correct only. Older partners only, but in the sacrificing ratio. Reason, the amount of premium for goodwill is to be adjusted in the sacrificing ratio of the partners and will be debited to the partner gaining and credited to the partner who is sacrificing. Yes, definitely gaining partner to be debited. Both are correct. Here, again, reconstitution of a firm as existing agreement comes to an end and a new agreement comes into effect because of the admission of your partner. This is what happens. Actually, when a new partner comes, the old agreement will comes to an end, new one will arise. That is known as reconstitution. But reconstitution of a partnership normally, that is not a partnership firm. But partnership firm is coming to an end means that is known as a dissolution. That comes in the term 2 examination. But the concept to be made very clearly. So here the first one is correct, reason is not the correct one. Very, very interesting and important concept, because in the sample question paper also this kind of questions are asked. Workman compensation fund treatment. Actually, what is workman compensation fund? We have to explain with the real life situation to our students. Normally in a factory, employees will be working, so they are prone to accident. It's not it. Sometimes it may happen, accident may come, may occur. So in that case, who has to pay the hospital expenses? Who will pay the compensation? Obviously, it is employer. So partners or employers here. Employers or owners, actually partners or employers, they are owners of the partnership firm. So our partnership, actually workman compensation fund is not mandatory for all the firms. They may create, they may not create. Some firms may have, some firms may not have. That is why some questions fund would be there, some questions funds won't be there. So, and our firms, partnership firms may have fund, because they won't have any shocks and surprises if accident occurs. So they are creating fund. So let us see that when there is no claim, but fund is available. Fund is there, but there is no claim. So they are very fortunate. So in that case, the fund will be distributed among all the partners in the old ratio. In the case of change in profit sharing ratio, actually the fund will be distributed in the old ratio among all the partners. In the case of admission, the fund is distributed only to the old partners in the old ratio. There is no claim. Second case, claim is there, but no fund. Unfortunate. The firm didn't create any fund, but they have got claim. In that case, from where they will pay this amount? Definitely, this is unrecorded liability that has to be brought to the debit side of the revaluation account. So in that case, the journal entry would be revaluation account added to claim account. Then fund is more than the claim. So they are very comfortable. They have made sufficient fund. So in that case, there is no need to bring to revaluation account. Sufficient fund is there. So fund to claim. The remaining amount, remaining fund will be transferred to partners capital account. Then the last one, claim is more than the fund. It is unfortunate to the firm. So they are not having sufficient fund to meet the claim. In that case, the whole fund will go to the claim. Then also claim is excess. In that case, the excess claim will be taken from the revaluation account. So in that case, the journal entry would be workman compensation fund account debtor, revaluation account debtor to claim account. There is no fund left to the partners. So like a story, we can build the whole concept with some amount we can clarify. This is very, very important question. Same way, investment fluctuation reserve also, IFR, same thing only, but there they have to think and see that the market value of investment. The market value increases means it's profit, decreases means loss. When there is loss, only investment fluctuation fund is required. Otherwise, the fund will be transferred to the partners. Here actually we have seen this question already. Interest on capital question. Now let us see from the company accounts. In partnership accounts, any other doubts, teachers?
No.
Thank you.
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Let's go to company accounts. Theory questions. Definitely we have to teach the theory. So many terms, new terms to them. We have to explain each and every terms. Private placement is there. It is given in the curriculum also. So in actually in business studies, they have this concept in the second book. Financial market, they have this, but that is for second term. So whenever the concept comes in accountancy and business studies, actually we know both are complementary to each other, interdependent also. Business studies as well as accountancy. So now we cannot teach from the business studies. Anyway, the private placement means the shares will be issued to a specified group of people. For example, we can say that individual institutions. The individual institutions may buy the shares in lot. They may be buying in 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 shares like that. Now recently, last week I read in newspaper, Dhoni has bought 30% share of Homeland Interior group of business, 30%. So this is known as shares issued to a particular group of people or particular institution. Single person also can be. So within a specified group, like relatives, friend circle, they are issuing. In that case, company need not to issue prospectus. Prospectus only will be issued to the public when they go for issuing shares to the public. When they go for private placement, the private placement may be done by the public company only. But in this case, they may issue prospectus, actually statement of lieu of prospectus, we call it. That only will be issued, and this is what advantage of this private placement is. Quickly they can raise the fund, and the flotation cost also will be less. Flotation cost means the cost incurred in raising fund, that also will be less. So these are the concepts we can teach to them. Then sweat equity shares. Sweat, normally the employees, those who are sweating for the organization. So the employees, those who are sweating, for that sweat, the company is issuing shares. In that way we can connect, but the correct definition is shares will be issued to the employees, those who have shared their know-how and intellects, know-how, whatever they know, maybe intellects, some programs like that, they are sharing with the organization, sharing with the company. For that, the company is issuing shares instead of paying any monetary, for example, bonus or increment. These are all monetary benefit, Instead of giving monetary benefit in that way, not by issuing shares or not by issuing bonus or salary increment, they are issuing shares to them. So sweat equity shares also important. And ESOP also very, very important. Employees stock option plan. This is issuing shares to the employees. Again, it is employees, not for their technical know-how. For know-how or for their technical intellect, the company is issuing sweat equity shares. In ESOP, the company is issuing shares to the employees, all the employees of the organization, less than the market price. In that case, all the employees, those who are willing to buy, but the option is given to all the employees, those who are interested, they can buy. In this case, we can give some case studies also. What has happened in our country? Normally, it is abroad country. It is famous ESOP. In our country, in Infosys, Narayana Murthy first introduced this. Narayana Murthy is the CEO of Infosys. First, he introduced this scheme. Actually, he issued shares to all the employees, even though the supporting staff, they became millionaire. So when we share these case studies with our students, definitely our students never forget this. And this is what the concept of employee stock option plan. This is also coming in the business studies book in the second term. Yes, please, ma'am.
Sweat equity shares Also can be issued at a discounted price less than the market one.
Yes, less than the market price. For example, they are issuing to public as rupees 10, they can issue at 9 or 8 sometimes to the employees.
That means less than market price, not less than face value.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
of course,
Okay.
correct. So they will become, imagine the situation, the employees become the shareholders and owners of the company, they can attend the meeting, they can elect the directors. So all this, so this is what is given, and this concept to be maybe in expansion form would be asked, not in elaborately, it would be asked in the examination because it's mentioned in the curriculum. Then calls in arrears and calls in advance. Actually, when it is not mentioned in the company accounts, must be mentioned in the table F of the articles of association. Here, the concept is they know the meaning of calls in arrears and calls in advance. And then we have to go in deep. Calls in arrears to be debited because as per the nominal account, calls in advance will be credited, and calls in arrears where it will be shown in the balance sheet when they are depicting the share capital in the balance sheet. Calls in arrears will be deducted from the share capital in the notes to accounts. Then calls in advance, where will you show it in the balance sheet? This will be under the current liabilities. Even under current liabilities, it is other liabilities. Under that, calls in advance will be shown. Then interest for calls in arrears is 10% and calls in advance is 12%. There is no syllabus for calculation purpose, but this percentage alone known by the students. Minimum subscription is very, very important question again. Minimum subscription is the subscribed by the public less than the issued shares. It should be 90%, we all know that. So whenever there is under subscription, they have to calculate. Student must calculate and see whether the allotment to be done or not. If it is below the 90%, allotment should not be made. The amount should be returned back. We all know that. Then preliminary expenses. Preliminary expenses meaning is the expenses spent at the time of incorporation, and this expense is how it would be shown in the balance sheet. This kind of questions may be posed. Then preliminary expenses to be written off from the security premium reserve. And another important theory question is how the security premium reserve will be utilized. It is given in the box in our book. That's very important question. The first statement what is itself, it is to write off the preliminary expenses. So that has to be deducted from the security premium reserve. And now security premium reserve means what is that? There's nothing but these shares are issued more than the face value. Normally it is, security premium reserve may be more than the face value. There is no percentage is given normally. Any amount it may be. For example, 100 rupees is the share value, 700 also may be the security premium reserve. That is depend upon the reputation of the company. Reputed company may fix any amount of premium. There is no limit for it. And then buyback of shares. What is that buyback of shares? When the equity shares of 2020 is 1 lakh rupees. In 2021, it is given as 80,000 rupees. It means 20,000 reduction. Normally, students think that it is actually they are repaying. It's not it. Actually, when the shares are reduced, we have to call it as buyback of shares. Actually, the total share value comes down. Share capital amounts come down because it is reduced in value. From 1 lakh, it has come to 80,000. But 20,000 is buyback. We call it as buyback of shares. When we have to use different types of terms here. When there is reduction in the value of debentures. Last year it was 1 lakh. Now this year it is 80,000 means the company is paid 20,000. We call it as redemption of debenture. And then if it is preference shares, redemption of preference shares. Suppose if it is a long-term loan, repayment of loan. That is not redemption, repayment of loan. In the case of equity shares, it is buyback of shares. How the company will buy back? This amount also will be paid through the security premium reserve only. Then reserve capital and capital reserve. Reserve capital is nothing but the part of called up share capital is retained at the time of, most probably at any financial crisis they may issue, or normally at the time of winding up of the organization, company only, they will issue that reserve capital. The student should know the difference between the reserve capital and capital reserve very carefully. Capital reserve is nothing but the gain, what they have gained out of capital nature, that will be transferred to capital reserve. Normally at the time of purchase consideration, you know, the shares are issued at purchase consideration other than cash. That time the company purchased the asset and they are paying less amount, means it is goodwill. More amount means it is, that amount will be transferred to, more amount means it is goodwill. Less amount they are paying means it is capital reserve. The gain on capital risk, gain in the nature of capital will be transferred to capital reserve, as well as at the time of forfeiture, the gain out of that will be transferred to capital reserve. Again, called up, paid up, fully paid up, discount on reissue, under subscription, over subscription, minimum subscription. These are the areas definitely we have to focus on. Be aware of excess money can be utilized to allotment only. Allotment only means the remaining excess money will be returned back. Then excess money will be adjusted first with allotment only. Then the excess money will be utilized for the security premium. Then reissued at for, all this to be taken into consideration, because reissued at for means bank amount at the time of reissue. Paid up is more than the reissue means. Paid up is more than means there will be forfeiture. Suppose paid up is less than the bank amount, it will be transferred to security premium reserve. Then part of the forfeited shares reissued means another calculation also to be done. So here, this is the depiction of share capital in the balance sheet. Here calls in arrears to be deducted. Suppose calls in arrears amount is, that kind of shares are forfeited means there won't be calls in arrears, only forfeited shares that has to be added. Suppose part of the calls in arrears are forfeited means part of the amount will be in the calls in arrears, remaining will be added as forfeited value. These are the mind maps. We will insist our students to prepare mind maps like this. So on their comfort, they can draw and they can have it, they remember very easily. Okay, financial statement analysis, the last. We know that once again, in financial statement of a company, first of all, they should know the meaning, objectives, limitations, significance of financial statements. It is coming from right from 11th standard, and then major heads, subheads in the balance sheet, all should be very thorough, and some rare items can be asked by the question setter. For example, debentures to be redeemed in the current year. So that will be treated as current liability because that will be paid within the current year. Then provision made for retirement fund, provision made for provident fund, all these are non-current liabilities, and mining will come under the intangible asset, livestock will come under the intangible assets. These are to be clarified very well, and then all the ratios with formulas and all the components, how the debt will be, what is the meaning of debt, what are included in debt. Debt means it is long-term debt only. What is mortgaged loan? Same way, equity means what are included in equity, how to calculate the cost of goods sold, all this to be taken into consideration. Now, how to face the practical examination? Actually, term 1 will be conducted by school, term 2 will be conducted by CBSE. So for term 1, there is no external. We have to conduct the examination, written test and project to be ready, and we have to conduct the viva and keep ready the evidence. For term 2, external will be appointed by CBSE and they will be coming. Here, one project only for 10 marks. The whole project, the one project one be divided into two. Here, first page of the file should describe the title of work, identity of the student, name, school, all this. Index to be there, format for project work, format, and name of the project to be written, objectives, period of study, actually 1 month only, source material, tools of analysis. Up to this is ready. Okay. For example, now the student can choose ratios, even cash flow they can choose, segment analysis also they can choose. But for the first term, we have taught only ratios. So written examination will be conducted only from ratios. Okay. So these are the things, the project title and the name of the students, all this. Then objective, for example, they have chosen cash flow means they can write the objectives of the cash flow because this is mentioned given in the second lesson itself. All the tools, importance, significance of tools already given. So they can write. Only written examination they can do in the ratios, or else ratios alone we can take. So they can write the meaning, objective, significance of ratios, and annual report of any company can be selected and downloaded, and they can take it in the printout. So that is known as material. Okay, material. So source material is also ready. So the tools what they are going to do, that also ready, that is ratios. What are the ratios they are going to do? But the analysis and pictorial representation and conclusion, interpretation, bibliography, all this for the second term. First term, practical marks, project 2 marks, viva was 2 marks, written test 6 marks, totally 10 marks. Actually, OMR sheets will be available in the cloud. It is given in the circular. We have to download it, and that will be printed in our school. These are the circular I have taken, and extra blank space also there in the OMR. If the students go wrong and they are identifying that, they can use the extra one also. Additional blank space would be there. So how to attend MCQ to get full mark? Student must be thorough with the concept and accounting principles. Read the questions thoroughly with more alertness, because just reading won't be sufficient. With more alertness, they have to scan the question twice or thrice. Like we have seen so many questions, always, and current account, capital account. So with more 100% alertness, they must read the question. 20 minutes allotted for reading the question, they should utilize it very, very efficiently. And selecting the questions very wisely, they have to do it. How fast they can do it, where their strength, where there is weakness, all this they have to identify. That can be done only by practice. Pay more attention to the words not, sometimes, always, never, except, etc. Evaluate each answer. All 4 options would be there. They have to evaluate all the 4 answers to the MCQ to assess the correct option. Then eliminate the incorrect one. First of all, first option is incorrect. They eliminate, and they have to stick on with the remaining 3 and determine the correct answer. And finally, if still after evaluating all the 4, eliminating the incorrect one, then also still they can give answer with their guess. They need not to leave any question. Any other doubts, clarification, dear teachers?
Ma'am, could you please show the slide regarding that practical examination?
Yes, ma'am. This one, ma'am? Is it okay?
Yes, before that, yeah.
This one, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Actually, in A4 sheet, they can write all this, and stick file is enough. And written examination for 6 mark, normally not based on conceptual. Application oriented question to be given, because it is very clearly mentioned in the curriculum. It is not like board examination question. So they have to apply the knowledge. So that kind of questions from ratios we have to give. Normally it is mentioned in the curriculum in the previous year, 3 questions can be given or 2 questions for 3 marks. But now it is objective questions only. So 6 questions also can be given, and OMR sheet can be given. Out of 6, we can give marks to them. So that has to be kept as evidence. Anytime CBSE can visit and they may ask for the evidence, so we have to show that. So Viva also to be conducted by the internal this time, then only they know about the Viva was, because in 11th standard and all they didn't do that. So all of a sudden they may not in the position to give answer to the external. After all, they are students, so we have to conduct Viva. Normally, Viva to be asked based on the project, not any questions. When we go as external also, we must pose question based on the project. What he has chosen the topic, what are the ratios the student selected, what company has chosen, from that only, what he has done, from that project only, we have to question. Any other doubt?
Could you please show the other slide, the next slide, please?
This one, ma'am?
Yes, yes, yes.
2 marks.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes,
Excuse
ma'am.
me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, for practical written test also, we have to give objective type question.
Yes, that is not mentioned. But
That is enough.
yes,
That is
it is not mentioned, but we can conduct MCQ alone. MCQ we can give,
Oh,
they can mark it in the OMR, and we can keep ready also.
okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Any other thing?
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Ma'am,
One question in the chat box, ma'am. How many ratios we have to select for project?
Actually, all the ratios are there.
Yeah, right.
All the ratios are there because it is mentioned very well in the curriculum. In between, we had some rumors like first two only liquidity and solvency ratios, but all the ratios are there.
Ma'am, one doubt, ma'am. Regarding the project, there was some talk between the teachers that we have to choose both accounting ratios and comparative statement, or accounting ratios and cash flow. It's any one, no, right, ma'am? Either ratio or cash flow or comparative and common size.
Any one only. Actually, among the specific projects, any one only to be chosen. So it is not necessary to have comparative on this. Cash flow is enough, or ratio alone is enough, or comparative and common size. Any one we can choose.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
ma'am, in the term one exam, students need to attend how many questions? I think 45 questions.
Yes. Actually, 55 questions will be there with choices.
Yes.
They have to write 45 questions out of that. But each one is not carrying 1 mark. As I said earlier, it is 0.88. So it will be taken for 40 marks. That's all. 45 questions will be multiplied with 0.88.
Okay.
Any other doubts you have?
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
that it has been told that any one is to be included in the project, either ratio or the comparative statement.
Yes.
So in the term one, which one we have to take, ma'am? We have to give 10 marks for the term one, no?
Term one, my opinion is it's better to have ratio analysis, because when we take ratios, they will be simultaneously preparing for the term one examination also, because comparative questions are there for this term two. So to my opinion, it's better to take ratios, but anything you can take, because it's we are not going to show any calculations. The full project we are not going to do now. The students are going to prepare. That's all. Only 50% they will be completing. That's all.
So the same project will be completed only by the second term. Is it right, ma'am?
Yes, of course. Same.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Same project only.
So the same project itself they'll complete, or they have to have cash flow in the second term?
Yes, because cash flow is a tool. The meaning of cash flow, objective, significance are given in the second lesson itself. Tools lesson itself, at a financial statement, tools it is given. So with that, they are going to keep ready. And they can download any annual report of any company. For that only, they are going to do cash flow statement. That preparation of the cash flow statement only in the second term. So up to collecting the materials, it's over. That's all. It won't take more than 5-6 papers. That's all.
Ma'am, I have one more doubt.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
term 1, they'll do ratio and term 2, they'll do cash flow. Is it like that, ma'am?
No, but only one ratio, one project it is given, no.
Only one project alone,
Yes.
either ratio or cash flow.
Yes, one specific project means it has to be a continuum because 50% for the term 1.
Term
Because
1,
material
okay.
collection and writing the objective significance, up to this only it is given for the first term.
First
That
term.
has to be continued for the second term.
Second term, the same one. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
So, ma'am, any mark is to be allotted to this time, the term 1, and we have to upload mark or something for that?
No, not now.
Not now. Or the whole mark, 20 mark will be allotted only in the second term, no, ma'am?
Yes, definitely.
Along with the external, is it?
Yes, now we have to, our duty is to conduct all this and keep the evidences ready.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am, great. Shall I interrupt, Ma'am?
Actually,
you
sir,
sure.
accountancy is an ocean.
Yeah,
I have
yeah.
to take a lot, when we enter into the concept, a lot is there, lot more is there.
Okay, ma'am. So
Analysis, all
your
this.
session was a great session. Everybody's still here with you. So never anyone left from this 50. Now the strength is I think 55. 65 was the strength. Only 10% left after just 10 minutes before, right? So everybody was enjoying the session. Great session. Anyone want to share any feedback? 1 or 2 persons, teachers, dear participants.
The session was very interesting and we could clear all our doubts regarding accounts. And I think it's a very wide field and I feel that I have to reteach everything. That's what I feel. I feel I've become more confident after attending your session, ma'am. We are looking forward to more sessions in future. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, Rajni ma'am.
Rajni ma'am, thank you.
Yes.
And ma'am, Malika ma'am, your number is asking by someone, Principal Holy Trinity. Can we have contact number?
Yes, yes. Sure.
So if you can, please type in chat box. Training time is not enough. Let's think about that next time, right? Okay, now the time is 6, I think 6:10, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Thanks, sir.
shall we conclude the session? Okay, for that, for the, vote of thanks on behalf of Confederation, let me invite Chitra ma'am, please.
Honorable resource person, Malika ma'am, and respected Ashra sir, and all the participants, very good evening to you all. First of all, I would like to thank you, Ashra sir, for giving me a chance to speak in this auspicious occasion. It's a matter of honor to me. And on the behalf of Confederation of Kerala Sahodaya Complexes, I would like to thank Malika ma'am for your interesting and valuable session. And also I thank all the participants from the bottom of my heart for your enormous cooperation and active participation. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Bye. See you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am. Okay,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for the opportunity. Really, it's
Thank you, ma'am.
I'm so happy about all of you because I'm sitting here in Chennai. I'm talking with you all. You people are from Kerala. It's wonderful. Technology connected us. Thanks a lot. Great opportunity.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.